College World Series tomorrow night on ESPN.
You did the College World Series, didn't you? You like
Yes.
that? You like
Yes,
that?
I love it. Phillip Rivers will come in the second quarter.
Well, you know what? That just shows you what the confidence that they have in Breeze, because usually they would let a quarterback finish a drive if they were in a drive. But not in this case. He's going to play one quarter, Breeze, and then in comes Rivers.
Sproles is the single setback, and Rivers to throw. Little screen too high to Sproles. Now Rivers, even though he had that great college career, only had 8 passes a year ago, 5 for 8, but his NC State numbers were spectacular. Almost 14,000 yards, 95 touchdown passes, only 18 interceptions. That's a tremendous ratio.
That time he didn't really have to throw the little jump pass, though.
Well, when you're 6'5", do you have to throw a jump?
Do you have to jump at all?
That's right.
Kasim Osgood is in. Vincent Jackson, the rookie wide receiver, also in for San Diego. 4-man rush on Rivers. Steps up, tries to take off, hit from behind, and taken down at the 33-yard line. Kabir Baju-Biamila got him from behind. Their best pass rusher.
KGB. I'll tell you what, KGB just stayed with this. I mean, he got by Jordan, the lineman, and just made that play. Watch KGB at the bottom of the screen, number 94. Now watch him come back inside. That's speed.
Yeah, but you have to step up and get rid of the football. And these are the things that Phillip Rivers has to go through. He has to go through reps of live action in a game to get a feel for the speed of when he should get rid of the football.
Cyphers will punt. It would have been a 52-yard field goal try had they chosen to do that. And this one just barely makes it into the end zone. Nice block by Chapman, who was back as the punt returner to keep one of the gunners away from the ball and allow it to go into the end zone. Back to Green Bay in a moment. ESPN. Back in Green Bay, and Brett Favre, of course, the star here, has been for a long time. Number 4 jerseys here to
If you don't have a 4, you don't have a jersey.
no.
You don't live in Green Bay.
That's right. Favre staying in the ball game gives it to Amon Green. Let's check in with Susan.
Mike, one of the things that's so impressive about Brett Favre, you know he's a lock for the Hall of Fame, but he came into this season saying there's things I want to improve, and he told us he's never been satisfied with his play. Always thinks he can get better, never content with a good season. Even the 3 MVP years, he said that was an honor, but I looked back and said I could have done this, I should have done that. He always wants to broaden his game, maybe even go through his reads more, be more patient, maybe a little more of that pocket passing.
And Susie, unless you're a fan of the team he is playing against and beating, as Javon Walker makes the catch, people all over this country root for Brett Favre. There's just something so magnetic about the guy.
Well, I think Randy Moss is a classic example. When he was with the Vikings, you know, Randy, every time we sat down with him, and we did a lot of Green Bay, Minnesota games, he would say, man, I got to watch this guy play football.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you're talking about one of the most phenomenal receivers we've ever seen in this game, admiring somebody like Brett Favre.
Plus, he's so much fun just to sit down and talk to.
Hours.
From the 32, the toss to Green behind Henderson. Been an outstanding blocker for a long time, up to the 35. Brett Favre will go into this season needing only 266 yards to join a very exclusive club made up right now of Dan Marino and John Elway, 2 of the best ever, over 50,000 yards. Of course, Marino's over 61,000.
You got to, I'll tell you, Favre's got to play 3 more years at least. 4.
No, I think 3. You know, figure 35 a year, 3,500 a year. I think you can do it.
Took your shoes off for that one, Joe.
I did. Took me a little while.
Henderson, a little swing, and Henderson fights for a first down out to the 45. Keep in mind, Brett had over 4,000 yards a year ago, and he understands more than ever the Packers' success falls squarely on the shoulders of number 4.
The major factor in this team having success is me not turning the ball over. That's a lot of pressure, a lot of pressure. In '96, when we won the Super Bowl, I could throw an interception and we could overcome it. Most of the time we were up, and it was a bonehead play, as Mike Holmgren would always say. You know, it was just stupid. And it was probably because I was bored. We were up, and we're not going to take many chances. Whereas now, our team is not good enough to overcome that. So there's a lot of pressure on me to be better and to be smarter. But at the same time, we have to score.
What a pretty pass that was to Ferguson. But he's fascinating to watch. He knows the pressure is on him because that defense, that secondary, is going to give up a lot of points.
And look at that stat, 31-2 when they commit one turnover or none. And he gave, you know, he embellished it a little bit. He said 37-4, but you know, in your mind, it's like if I take care of the football as a quarterback and manage the game well, we have a great chance of winning.
Favre again, and he still has that rifle as Ben Steele makes the catch. Here's the problem with that philosophy. When he plays somebody like Indianapolis, a team that scores well, he knows he has to score virtually every time he gets his hands on the football, and that can force him to make dangerous throws.
Well, and he's looking at this football team here. Now, I understand they have Bates here, but they still don't have the players on defense that they really need, and he really knows going into this season. When he dedicated himself, I cannot afford to make any mistakes because we can't get it back.
Well, he hasn't made any in this game. He's 6 for 6. And Najee Davenport, leaving San Diego helmets in his wake, is inside the 40-yard line. Stephen Cooper, number 54 out of the University of Maine, makes the tackle.
Mike, to your point, as you mentioned, if they go against a team like Indianapolis or somebody that's a wide-open football team, that's where Brett Favre has to really draw the line and say, okay, when do I manage the game and when do I take some chances?
Exactly.
And that's really, I think, what Susie was talking about, the way he's approaching this season.
Favre trying to get a score on the board for the Packers with 9:26 to go in the first half. Tried to fit that one in there, knocked away from Ferguson. A good double team. Sammy Davis out of Texas A&M got there first. Number 22 laid a good lick in there. And DeQuincy Scott is the injured San Diego Charger. We'll check on him when we come back. The juice is going. If you're trying to get his job or you're playing against him, just let sleeping dogs stay where they are.
And it really isn't a question of him losing his job. I think people have to understand, you know, guys like Dan Marino, John Elway, Brett Favre, if you play that many years, there's a tremendous amount of pride and professionalism in the way you play the game, whether it's a preseason game, a regular season game, in his case, playoffs, Super Bowls. He's going to play it the same way. Well, that's a great lesson for Aaron Rodgers to learn.
I think that he's going to play in this game. You wonder why he's in there with 9 minutes to go in the second quarter. Well, he's in there because he wants to be in there. I don't think you just take him out. He'll tell you when he wants to come out. When he gets enough work and he feels comfortable, he'll come out.
DeQuincy Scott, the injured player who is playing both defensive end and linebacker, is up, but now they want to bring out the cart to help him get off the field. We talked to Brett Favre the other day, and one of the things we mentioned, his responsibility perhaps in mentoring the young quarterback, Aaron Rodgers.
It's not my job to get him ready to play. It's his job. No one ever took the time out to say, okay, Brett, especially the guys in front of me. No one ever said, okay, Brett, this is what we're going to, this is what you got to do. You use your best judgment. You watch. You be prepared if that time comes. And it's your job as a young guy to ask questions if needed to be asked. Don't expect me or don't expect the coaches, even though it's a coach's job to get you ready. You have to get yourself ready. And only you know how to do that.
He's right. Well, he said, there's nothing in my contract says that I have to coach him.
Yeah, but, I think as a player, he'll do everything he can by example. And it really is. It's Aaron Rodgers' responsibility, which I think he's a little intimidated to walk up to Brett and ask him at this stage. A couple more weeks, I think that'll change.
3rd and 6 for Favre and the Packers from the San Diego 39-yard line. Good protection for Favre. Throws underneath. The catch made by Javon Walker, but he doesn't get near the first down. Stopped by Rob Butler out of Robert Morris. And what will the Packers do on 4th down?
Go for it. Go for it.
They're going for it.
Absolutely, you go for it.
I like what Roger said. He said, you know, we walk out on the field at practice, and there's, what, a couple thousand people watch every practice session, and we get a little clap here or there, clap there. Favre walks out of the dressing room, and it's a standing ovation for practice.
And he's not even practicing.
4 wide receivers plus Tony Fisher, the 3rd down back in the backfield. Favre with the out. They got the first down. The completion to Antonio Chapman.
You want to talk about presence on a football field? You want to see it at its best? Now this is 4th down. The clock is running down. The pocket holds, and watch this throw. This is Ho-Hum. He's throwing and getting out of the way. Watch where he puts this ball for Chapman. Perfect to the outside. There is no chance for the defense.
Nick Lucci is in as the fullback for Davenport. That's a huge backfield. Davenport goes 250. Lucci goes 275.
But Najee Davenport was 265. He was talking about nutrition. He got on Jenny Craig. He lost all his weight on Jenny Craig. This is a guy that, yeah, he did. Don't look at me that way, Paul. I'm not kidding. That's what he did. He took that program and got himself down. He even looks thin. What are you looking at me that way for? It's a fact. I only deal in facts. You know that.
12th play of the drive coming. Favre pump fake. Now he wants to go deep. End zone driver. Got it. Drayton Florence and Sammy Davis were back in coverage, but Donald Driver pulled it in from 23 yards.
Brett Favre and the Green Bay Packers are putting on a lesson and schooling some of the San Diego Chargers.
Well, after he threw this pass to Driver, he goes and jumps into the arms of Flanagan, the center. I'm going to tell you, it doesn't make any difference what game Favre is playing. You want to call this a preseason game, an exhibition game? Not to him.
And not to Donald Driver either.
Driver a year ago caught 84 for over 1,200 yards. Tremendous duo with Walker and Driver.
Donald Driver said playing with Brett's like playing with a little kid.
A little kid with an enormous arm. 80-yard drive directed by the Hall of Famer in waiting. It took 6.5 minutes off the clock. The Packers go 80 yards behind Brett Favre's brilliant 7 out of 8 for 64 of the 80s. Took more than 6.5 minutes off the clock. 7:29 to go in the half. And that was probably the end of Favre's night. Longwell will kick off, and Sproles is back to receive.
Well, it seems Rodgers, okay, you can have it now, son. Oh, man.
And that is going to go out of bounds. I don't care if it's preseason or not. You can't kick the ball out of bounds as a place kicker, can you?
No, sir. No, sir. They only ask you to do 2 things. Kick field goals, or 3 things. Field goals, extra points, and kick off down the middle.
When we come back, Drew Brees will join Suzy Kolber on the field for an interview. Stay with us. There's been a lot of people in there, and they're all wearing Green Bay stuff. They're local. They just keep coming back to see this wonderful display of Packers memorabilia.
Well, the town owns the team.
That's right.
So they're checking on their investment.
That's right. They're adding a little money.
They're investment minded.
From the San Diego 40-yard line.
San Diego will start from its own 40. Pinnock, number 34, is in at fullback. Rivers out in the flat. And that will pick up a couple. Let's check in with Susan.
Well, Mike, going into last year, Drew Brees was basically written off by a lot of people. All he did was win comeback player of the year. What did that mean to you?
It was a big honor because I guess it's just people giving you recognition for what you were able to accomplish and what your team was able to accomplish. So definitely a big honor.
And what's it like for you going into this season?
Well, definitely not satisfied with the way that we ended last year. We did go 12-4, but we lost in the first round of the playoffs, and to us that's not good enough. We feel like we built a solid foundation and we can, take it a long way.
We've heard a lot tonight, Brett Favre talking about it's not really his job to mentor a young quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. What's your philosophy on mentoring?
Well, just being around a guy like Brett, for Aaron Rodgers would, just watching the way he works, watching the way he prepares, watching the way he practices, and then obviously on game day. I think that in itself is probably enough, but, there's definitely those times where you're watching film and, you kind of give him a pointer here or there. And, for the guys, that are under me like Philip and Cleo Lemon and Craig Oaks, I try to help them out whenever I can, but obviously each week I'm trying to make myself better, make this team better.
Brett was pretty outspoken about Javon Walker holding out his go-to guy. Your go-to guy is Antonio Gates. What's this situation like for you with him holding out?
Well, we all understand the business and we understand how that works. And when Antonio Gates gets into camp, then, we'll welcome him. Because, he's obviously a huge part of this offense, huge part of this team, and, he means a lot to us.
Good luck this season. We'll see you a couple of times.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susie, and thanks to Drew Brees. Both he and Philip Rivers were really nice to talk to the other day. Both have great attitudes toward what they want to do this year. Cyphers with a high sailing kick to Chapman. He lets it go, and that will be downed inside the 2. Bao down on special teams, got a hand on it. There is a flag down inside the 5. Now, if Bao is one of the gunners and went out of bounds, he cannot be the first man back inbounds to touch it.
Marty Schottenheimer rule.
If they could move this ball out to the 20, you would have a chance to take a touchback. Let's see what the call is.
Wouldn't it be something if that was actually the call? And in the first preseason game for the San Diego Chargers, Marty had suggested it to Jim Stieg, who's an executive with the Chargers, and they brought it up.
Here it is.
Illegal touching, number 27, kicking team. The ball was touched inside the 5-yard line. By rule, the ball will be placed on the 20-yard line. First down.
By new rule, we might add. There's Marty.
All right, here it is. You see, Bao, he's out of bounds. Now, when he goes back in, he cannot be the first guy to touch the ball. Now he touches it inside the 5. They get it at the 20.
Brett Favre will enjoy the rest of this one from the Packers bench because first-round draft choice Aaron Rodgers out of California is in the ball game. Favre was 9 out of 10 for 91 yards and a touchdown.
Not bad.
It's been a long, long time since they needed a top pick at quarterback. Najee Davenport tries to cut it outside and will pick up a couple. A lot of people thought Aaron Rodgers had a chance to be selected number 1 in the 2005 draft. Instead, he slipped all the way to number 24, and that's where the Packers were able to get him. The first quarterback taken in the first round since 1981. Threw for over 2,500 yards, 24 touchdowns last season at California. A young man who has always had to work hard to prove himself. No scholarship offers out of high school, only got 1 out of junior college, and that was California.
And really wound up only winding up at Cal was because Jeff Tedford, who's the coach at Cal, went to see his tight end, Garrett Cross, who wound up being here with the Packers, has since left, but that's how he wound up being recognized. I like what I see in Aaron Rodgers. He's a number 1 pick in my mind. I think he throws the ball very well. He sets up very well. He's in an ideal situation. Whether Brett mentors him or not, he has a chance to learn the game from one of the best.
Learn how to throw it to the tight end. Again.
Third down underneath. And Ben Steele can't hang on to it.
People have talked about Aaron Rodgers, and scouts I've talked to say, well, he's real mechanical. He gets the ball up high, he gets it in a position, it stays by his ear, and he fires it. It looks very comfortable for him, and when I look at a quarterback, I want to see the comfort level that he has with the ball position. I think it's a very solid place for the ball to be. He doesn't, Jeff Tedford taught him he didn't want it to drop it down below his waist. It takes too long to get up and get it out. I think everything he does mechanically is very sound.
Sproles will drop back to the 30 for the punt from B.J. Sander. Sproles driven all the way back to the 21 and then buried at the 25-yard line. A 5-yard return after a beautiful punt of 48 yards. Rob Davis and Lee Torrance hustling down on special teams.
Just to give you an idea who Jeff Tedford is, he's the coach at Cal now, but he's coached other places. You see Aaron Rodgers, Kyle Bowler, Joey Harrington, A.J. Feely, David Carr, Trent Dilfer, and Billy Volek. And the first-round picks, he's had 4 of them. 5 of them, actually. And he's an excellent teacher. And these guys are not system quarterbacks. All of these young quarterbacks are on teams that needed more than just them. And these guys are going to have a chance to grow in. Probably the one that's helped the most of everyone is Trent Dilfer. He's been a great mentor to all these young guys.
Sproles and Pinnock are the running backs behind Rivers. Play action goes out in the flat, and Pinnock out of South Carolina, 7th-round draft choice 2 years ago, is dropped by Nick Barnett, the middle linebacker.
Now, Philip Rivers on the other side, big, tall guy, 6'5". Ball comes out a little bit low, but people talk about, well, he's tall and he throws a little bit sidearm. There was a guy by the name of Bernie Kosar who was one of the most accurate passers this league has ever seen, and he threw it from down around his hip. So there are a lot of ways mechanically to deliver the ball accurately. Philip Rivers has found one that's comfortable for him.
Barker came in at the end of the play. We'll check this out as we're down to 3:27 in the half.
You know, the only sad part about it is
Holding.
when you tuck.
67, offense, 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
When you talk about young quarterbacks like this is where the only time they're going to really get a chance, unless you become the backup quarterback. Then you practice with the other squad, with opposing team. But once the season starts, they don't get any shots.
No, you get no work.
You get absolutely nothing. So if you don't do it in preseason, they don't have anything else to remember you by.
Not only that, but things that you have to see yourself on film doing is a great teaching aid.
Now 2nd and 16. Draw play. The Packers certainly haven't put much pressure on the passing game tonight, except for 1 sack by KGB. Sproles, who was described by Marty Schottenheimer as electric, had 6,812 all-purpose career yards. That's 6th best all time. Played at Kansas State.
Almost 5,000 rushing, average 6.1 yards. I love the way he described it. He's not small, he's short.
But he also, they like to see him as a return guy, but he's got to be able to hold on to the ball a lot better than he's shown.
5'6", 181. Rivers out in the flat. Tight end Sean Brewer out of San Jose State makes the grab.
That's a good decision. A lot of young guys you want to see what kind of decisions are they going to make. Looks down the field, steps up. Ball's not as high, you see, and it's a sidearm throw. It's a step push type of throw. Like to see him have his feet under him a little bit more when he makes that delivery.
We have reached a 2-minute warning in Green Bay with the Packers on top of the Chargers. It's 7-0. Coming up at the half, the Coors Light halftime show with Chris Berman, a live interview with T.O., and that's all coming up on the Coors Light halftime show as soon as we're done with the first half here in Green Bay. 2 minutes to go on the clock. Packers leading at 7-0.
And he bets that's a 4 jersey he's wearing?
There's a 9, 29.
Cyphers will kick to Chapman here. San Diego unable to move the ball again. Chapman signals fair catch, then lets it go. And that'll cost him about 10 yards as the ball kicks down to the 15.
And flags everywhere.
52-yard punt, and that's what you can't afford to do as a kick returner, is let the ball go over your head. Joe Theismann never did that.
No, I always had to run up because I wasn't fast enough to go back and chase it.
I don't think
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. After the kick, 48, kicking team. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
In 2004, after an offseason that was filled with controversy and turmoil, Terrell Owens found himself a new home. In his first season with Philadelphia, T.O. caught 77 passes for 1,200 yards and 14 touchdowns on the way to his 5th Pro Bowl appearance. And what was probably more impressive than anything was the way that he played in the Super Bowl when he came back from that injury. But what has not been impressive is his conduct, and it never seems to change, regardless of whether he's in San Francisco, demands that they trade him, but not to Baltimore after they'd made a deal, and to Philadelphia. Now he's unhappy there. All he did was sign a $47 million contract, or $48 million or $49. The numbers are a little fuzzy, for 7 years, and he's not happy with it.
I'll tell you what, I'm just getting tired of it. And I'll tell you why I'm getting tired of it. This is a team sport. This is all about team. There's 53 guys on the team. There's so much concentration on one guy. It takes away from your football team. They have an outstanding football team, and they're allowing one guy to disrupt the whole process. And it's not right.
Well, you have to think of how hard Joe Banner and Andy Reid have worked to build the Philadelphia Eagles. They went to the NFC Championship game without Terrell Owens. They went to the Super Bowl without Terrell Owens. I don't know what makes him think he's so important. He's thrown Donovan McNabb under the bus. He threw Jeff Garcia under the bus. He insulted Kyle Boulder. And he wants a trade. I wouldn't want this guy anywhere around me if I was a quarterback. And T.O., you're screwing up big time. That's all I can tell you. Shut your mouth, go back and play football. That's the only way you get any respect from anybody.
Boy, you can feel the love up here in the booth, can't you?
You know,
I agree with you totally.
I care about him. I really do. But he's making an absolute jerk out of himself.
And you're one of the guys, Joe, who has been, T.O., if you're listening, Joe Theismann is one guy who's been in your corner for a long, long time. And even he's fed up with it. So, you know.
Don't get it. I don't understand. There's no credence to what he's doing.
And I don't understand why one individual gets all that attention when you've got a great football team sitting there in Philadelphia. Great coaching staff, great players, and a guy that's disrupting the entire organization. It makes no sense to me.
The Philadelphia Eagles have gone to 4 consecutive NFC Championship games. How great an organization, how great a group of players do you have to have to accomplish
70
that?
offense. Half the distance to the goal, still second down.
We will see the Eagles against Pittsburgh on Monday night.
But we won't see T.O.
T.O. won't be there until, I believe, at least Wednesday. I don't know what they're calling his removal right now. It was a suspension. I think they changed the wording on that, if I heard this afternoon correctly. But you know what Brett Favre would say about it? Hey, got a contract? Get in here.
You know, the other thing, the Philadelphia Eagles are going to win a lot of football games with him. They did it before, and if he isn't around, they're going to do it without him.
Absolutely.
So, you know, you're not bigger than this game.
But they are in a terrible position right now at wide receiver. I just hope that does not compromise their judgment. Nall is down in the quarterback. Najee Davenport, after the holding call, trying to get outside, stayed inbounds. Nall out of Northwest State in Louisiana. And they are trying to fix Aaron Rodgers' helmet. He's got a bad radio in it.
Yeah.
So they want to correct the communication process before they send him back in there.
He's getting country western instead of communications from the booth. And he really likes Toby Keith, but not at this particular time.
No, he's getting some messages from Cam Cameron, the offensive coordinator in San Diego. He can't understand. Why is he calling these bad plays for me?
You know, he's got to say to himself, all right, What is this? What happens to rookie quarterbacks? I mean, do you get snake bit along the way?
Yeah, he has a chance to play, and the receiver in his helmet goes out.
He's also starting from his own 5.
All right, just remember now, it's a minute 28. It's 3rd and long, and the Chargers do have one more timeout. This thing's going to break out into a football game soon.
It's been a very informative, interesting game, Paulie.
Null draw play. Fisher, the 3rd down, back lost the ball. San Diego says they have it at the 14. There has been no signal yet from the officials.
If it is, it'll be the 2nd fumble that the Chargers have knocked loose.
Fisher coughed this one up. And somehow the Packers got it back.
You know, really, when we're talking football, this is a coaching point. Here you are with the ball. You're running a draw play, and the chances of making a first down on 3rd down and a whole bunch is nil. And then you're trying to pick up an extra yard. You're not even close to a first down. Protect the football.
Yeah, but you know what? Both of these fumbles were caused by the helmet on the ball. This is a great job by the tacklers, the linebackers, the secondary of the San Diego Chargers. Brett Favre talked about turnovers.
Did not have a good turnover ratio a year ago, which makes winning the division again all that more remarkable.
I think, you know, the Minnesota Vikings have helped themselves quite a bit. The Chicago Bears, if Rex Grossman can stay healthy at the quarterback position. And goodness knows the Detroit Lions, who the Packers open up with, are loaded on offense like no team in football if they can just get it together.
San Diego, on the other hand, we talked about Green Bay's turnover problems. San Diego finished plus 15. That was 3rd best in the league behind the Colts and the Jets. So that gives you a good indication of why they had such an outstanding season. Sproles is back to return the punt of Sanders. Sproles steps up, hit as soon as he touched it, and is taken down at the 44-yard line. Lost 2 on the return after a high punt of 39.
Well, Brett Favre isn't playing anymore in this game, but boy, did he put on a show when he was in there. Looking around all over the field, out to Javon Walker, showing the ability to scramble around. And that's really what he talked about when he rededicated himself. The work ethic, being a little bit lighter, and then the great pass to Donald Driver to cap an unbelievable first half. 9 of 10, 91 yards, 1 touchdown. Did everything he had to do and wanted to accomplish, I believe, in the first preseason game.
Rivers goes to the shotgun. Throws over the middle, too low and incomplete. And if you're a quarterback, isn't this a situation you want? If you want to show the coaches something, what you can do, this 2-minute drill at the end of a half.
The coaches want you in this situation, especially someone like Philip Rivers, who's going to continue to be evaluated. You saw Marty Schottenheimer talking to Drew Brees, talking about strategy. I think that you've got a quarterback who's 6'5", throwing to a back who's 5'5". And I had small backs, and it's not easy. There's not a whole lot of margin of error when you're throwing to a little guy.
Not if you hit him in the hand.
Yeah, but there's such a tiny spot to put him in there.
3-man rush for Green Bay. Campman putting on a little pressure. Sproles will get out of bounds at midfield.
You know the one thing about, because we're not going to obviously see Favre again in this game, but the one thing about looking at the highlights and watching him work, if you take a look at all the things that Favre does, is that all of his receivers never stop moving. Now here's Rivers getting the ball out to Sproles to the outside, and Sproles does the right thing. He gets out of bounds to save the clock. But when you look at all of those highlights of Favre, and you see the receivers, not one guy ever takes his eyes off of him. They're always moving because if they're going to get open, he's going to find you.
Or he'll hit you in the back of the head.
And knock you out. Pressure on Rivers this time, and he throws complete, has a first down. Good toss by Rivers to Riche Caldwell out of the University of Florida, who had a breakout year a year ago before he hurt his knee. He was having a great early start, and they need somebody to step up at wide receiver.
Well, they're going to get a holding penalty against Green Bay.
28 defense. Penalty is declined. First down.
That's Ahmad Carroll, who was a starter after game 6 at the corner last year.
And that's part of the problem that
Yes.
Ahmad Carroll had, was way too many defensive holding penalties. And this is the thing that Jim Bates doesn't want to see happen. He gives his corners the freedom to come up and bump, but Ahmad Carroll's going to have to do a better job of figuring out where 5 yards is and stop pulling on the jerseys.
Mike Hawkins, number 27 for Green Bay, is now in at a corner. He is their 5th-round draft choice
That was just
out of Oklahoma and played arena ball. They think he's going to be a good one.
That was a
They got-
bad throw.
Well, let me say that was a bad throw. But you know what? You got one pass rusher on the Green Bay Packers defense, and KGB has not missed a play this entire half. He has been in on every defensive down for the Green Bay Packers.
Aaron Campman, the other end, is the same way. They're both still out on the field. Remember, the Packers are missing Grady Jackson in the middle, Cledius Hunt, they're 2 big tackles. Jim Bates was saying if we can get those guys on the field, we can do something and collapse the pocket.
Nile Diggs out as well, starting linebacker. Rivers, pressure from behind. Sproles again, taken down just inside the 40, belted by Nick Barnett.
Sproles is a little guy, but I'll tell you what, he can fly. And Barnett, you talk about a linebacker getting out in coverage. Barnett says, hey, I've got skills. I can get to the outside. I like this defense because I'll be like Zach Thomas was at Miami.
Barnett with great speed out of Oregon State. Speed his biggest asset. Rivers, a chance to run straight up the middle of Rivers, slides in safely near the 25. Clock is running down to 11 seconds.
There you go. This is good.
They don't have any timeouts.
I like what he's doing. Just get it. Don't. Oh, that's the official's fault.
Boy, the official moved that back. That cost him 6 or 7
official did it.
seconds.
Whoa.
That's the official. That's on the official.
You think Schatzi's mad? Hey, Schatzi,
Oh, yeah.
come on out.
They don't even get a shot at a field goal.
They marked that ball close to the 25. San Diego was up there to down it. The official then stepped in and moved it back 3 yards, and that took up all the rest of the time on the clock.
I mean, you got time to get your team up in front. Take a look at this. Now, Rivers has done the right thing. He's got his team ready to go. All of a sudden, the official moves, the umpire takes the ball and moves it back. He's got to take him back again. Now the time's gone.
You saw the side judge at the top doing his job, showing him the spot. It's just one of those unfortunate things.
Our score at halftime at Lambeau. The Packers 7, the Chargers nothing. Now let's join Chris Burns.